Welcome to Nolan Knows. It's the lightning round. All right, a poll has been taken and 48% of Americans oppose immigration, at least using the president's executive action. I understand this. I don't like the way he did it either. We do have a problem, though. We've got a problem because there has to be a way to keep these kids who were here since they were 6 or 8 months old from being sent out of the country. Yeah, I want it fixed. I just don't think the president has the right to use executive action. That's where he crosses the line. Next on the list, newborn death rate drops in the United States. You know, we have probably the best neonatal and prenatal care of any country in the world, and it just keeps getting better. I can't imagine how much time and money is invested in what they've done, but it's certainly headed in the right direction. Al Sharpton is upset. Apparently a report has come out that indicates he owes $4.5 million in unpaid taxes. Let's see, Tawana Brawley, do I trust Al Sharpton? He says he doesn't owe that money, but I don't trust him. Of course, then the New York Times is famous for hiring reporters that make stories up too. Truth is, he probably does owe the money, and I think it's an irony that a liberal who likes to tax productivity hasn't paid his taxes on productivity. The state of Ohio has taken a vote in their House of Representatives to ban powdered alcohol. Well, here we go again, another prohibition, another group of technocrats deciding what's best for us, what we can consume and what we can't. They're afraid, they don't trust you. You'll make the wrong choice, they know better, so they've decided to ban it. Just another case of big government. Egypt's first ever trial over female circumcision has ended and they've found no one guilty. How can that possibly be? How can they possibly think at any level that that makes any sense or that it's all right to do? Oh, wait a minute. We do that here with men. Yeah, we circumcise them. Same thing. Nobody stops that from happening. Ferguson, Missouri's back in the news. Apparently the KKK is threatening to shoot people who protest, and if that's not enough, they're in a fight with Anonymous. Those are two groups I really don't much care for. I'd like them to fight until they both just disappear. Let them wipe themselves out. Two ugly organizations. It's time for the story of the week, and the story of the week is immigration. The president addressed the nation talking about immigration, and he said that he wants to make these people who have come across the border, not going through proper channels, doing the paperwork, etc., legal. He's kind of giving them an amnesty, if you will. Most of us agree something has to be done. You just can't send these people back across the border. Hell, you probably can't even find these people. Many of them have spent almost their entire lives here. You just can't rip them out of their parents' arms and send them to a strange country. It doesn't make sense. What we don't like is the process. What we don't like is the way the president did it. The sad truth is there is no real easy solution. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans are ever going to come up with a real solution because it's too tough. You see, the real solution involves getting rid of food stamps, welfare, and EBT cards, and Medicaid, rent subsidies and utility subsidies, and all of those things that pay so well that Americans won't take these low-skilled jobs. It's not that Americans are stupid, actually they're smart. I wouldn't do it. If I could get $40,000 a year in benefits, why would I want to go pick lettuce in a ranch in Texas? But if I won't do it because I'm collecting all those benefits and somebody has to pick that lettuce, who's going to do it? More people will come across the border, they'll take those jobs, and in a few years we'll have the same problem we have now. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans have the wherewithal to fix the problem, so don't think this is the end. There'll be another president somewhere down the line, 4, 5, 6 years from now, who'll be facing the same thing Obama's facing. It's time this week for If They Were Here. My If They Were Here this week is Don Lemon. He is a CNN reporter. He was talking to a woman who said that she was a victim of rape from Bill Cosby, the comedian. The story is gaining a lot of traction. Everybody's talking about it in the news, and it seems like an awful lot of women are coming out. And I would argue where there's that much smoke, there's likely fire. I can't prove it, but that's not really the point of my being upset with Mr. Lemon. While interviewing this woman, He asked her if, in the midst of being compelled by force to fillet Mr. Cosby, whether or not she thought to bite down. Hard to imagine what it's like. I have no idea, I have no clue how horrible it is to be the victim of a crime like that. But I don't imagine you're in your most rational state of mind. Some women actually mentally have to depart. They actually have to put their mind someplace else so that they can ignore the terror that's going on. I don't think they're logically thinking. I don't think they're rationally figuring out just how they're going to get out. I think they're terrified and they act on impulse. And he comes out and asks her in the midst of that terror, hey, did you think to bite down? I don't even know why this guy's got a job. An insensitive question like that. Now, perhaps it's because CNN is pretty liberal that they get away with that. I'm sure if that happened on Fox News, the president would grab a teleprompter and run out in front of a camera and ask the federal government to find a way to get Fox News off the air. But this didn't seem to get that kind of stir. Oh, it's starting to build now. There's a little bit of buzz about it on social media. And after all, if the Huffington Post gets upset, it's starting to build up a head of steam. But it wasn't a very brutal story at Huffington Post. Just mildly upset. Well, I think they should be damned upset. I think it's damned insensitive. And frankly, Don Lemon, if you were here, I'd tell you, bite me. It's time for Mist in the Media. House Republicans are going to sue the Obama administration over the Obamacare health law. I know what they're doing and I know why they're doing it. Apparently the president has delayed parts of the health care law. He did it in hopes of not really hurting the economy too much and hurting his chances of having a Democratic Senate or even getting more seats in the House of Representatives. That was the whole point behind delaying everything. It didn't really work out that way, and now the Republicans want to go to court over the delays that he put in place. And you can argue all you want whether or not he really had the right to, but at this point, politically speaking, the Republicans need to stop and wait. There is a case that has wended its way into the Supreme Court. It's called Halbig v. Burwell. When they wrote the Obamacare health law, in order to get the states to put up their own exchanges, they wrote into the law that those states that did create an exchange, the constituents in that state that got their health care through that portal were going to get a subsidy from the federal government. In fact, one of the authors of the health care law has said repeatedly on film that the whole point of that law, the whole point of that part of the law, was to get the states to open up their own exchanges. Well, most of the states didn't open up their own exchanges. If they don't open up their own exchanges, their constituents don't get a subsidy check for the cost of their health insurance. In fact, the system literally collapses under the circumstances the way the law was written. Well, the Democrats are trying to say, and the IRS and the administration are saying, yeah, that's not really what they meant. They meant that everybody should get a subsidy. But we know from the wording in the law, and we know from the author who helped write the law, that's not the case. So when this goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court reads the law, and they understand that the government has to enact it as it's written. In other words, you can't say, well, we meant this, but it really didn't look like that. In that case, the Supreme Court will undoubtedly tell Congress, then fix it. But right now, the law as written doesn't allow for the subsidy. When that case makes it through the Supreme Court, Obamacare goes away. It'll collapse under its own weight because those people won't be able to afford the insurance policies. They won't be able to cover them without the subsidy, and the states won't be compelled to enforce those laws. The whole thing will collapse. Politically, the Republicans have their hands tied anyway. There's just not much they can do. Don't bring them to court because that's going to be a political issue that they're going to use in the media to say how much the Republicans hate Obama. Don't try any budget tricks to stop him from enacting his Obamacare law. Just sit back and wait, because I believe the Supreme Court is going to kill Obamacare, and it's going to die mostly because it's committed suicide. Halbig v. Burwell. Watch for it.